Now we're going to look at the chart for Roseanne Barr, comedian, born November 3rd, 1952 at 13 hours in Salt Lake City, Utah. And if you were to look at the eastern horizon when she was born, you would see the constellation associated with Capricorn rising at 14 degrees. First, we're going to look at how the planets are operating, when they're operating, and what could we can do to improve the chart. So we want to see what the benefic and malefic planets are, and we look to see if there are any multicron signs 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, or 11 in the Dustan Babas, the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th house. We see that in the 8th house we have the sign of Leo, the multicron sign of Leo, ruled by Sun. So Sun becomes functional malefic for this chart, and it can cause harm. You look in the 12th house, we see the sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. So Jupiter also becomes functional malefic and can cause harm. The rest of the planets, except for Rahu and Ketu, are all benefic in this chart. So first we want to look at the strength and the significations of the planets. Sun is at 18 degrees, and we just said it's a functional malefic, ruling the house of obstacles, delays, setbacks, death-like experience, transformation, vulnerability, and it is placed in a house of career. So there can be ups and downs and delays to career. But Sun is close to the most effective point, which is 14 degrees. That becomes the most effective point of every house. And any planet within 5 degrees of that most effective point can have impact. So it's within 4 degrees, so there is some impact there. Gives her great leadership abilities, but also gives some vulnerability with health. And this also has to do with the stability of marriage. She had multiple marriages. Moon is at 12 degrees, also within 2 degrees of the most effective point, and it is very strong and well placed in her chart. It's exalted, and it rules the house of partnerships, and it is placed in the house of investments, children, education. So it gives her strong public partnerships with the public, but also can create a strong emotional vulnerability. Mars is at 23 degrees, and it is ruling the house of happiness through family, and it's placed in the house of foreign lands. So she, I guess, currently lives in Hawaii, which is any city that's more than 500 miles away becomes foreign land. So she resides, and she was originally from Salt Lake. So it is afflicted by Jupiter. So Jupiter is, this losses, expenses, separations. So it can have some effect on property. Mars signifies property and family. So again, multiple marriages. Mercury is at 10 degrees, and it is very strong and well placed, also close to the most effective point within 4 degrees. And it is ruling the house of good fortune and religion, and it is placed in the house of income. So it says she can have a good income, good fortune, through her ability to communicate. She's very witty and a great comedian. Jupiter is at 23 degrees, and it is, again, functional malefic. It is ruling this 12th house of losses, separations, imprisonment, um, and it is placed in the house of happiness and family. And Jupiter has to do with growth and weight. Her weight goes up and down, and because it's ruling this house of separation, again, it's Jupiter has to do with husband, signifies husband, so multiple marriages and many, many children. She did have a child that she lost or gave up at an early age, 15 or 16 years old. Venus is at 22 degrees, and it is ruling the house of career, placed in the house of income. And it says you can have income through performing arts. Venus has to do with performing arts. She is a comedian. It is afflicted by Ketu, which can have sudden ups and downs of career, which she has many. Saturn is at 27 degrees. It's ruling the house of wealth and recognition, placed in the house of religion and good fortune. And it also, this is the house of speech. It's ruling the house of speech, so gave her witty speech. She also studied the Kabbalah, so she has an interest in religion, as well as the Jewish. Her parents were Jewish, and she was raised, I think, in a Mormon state, so that had an effect on her. It is afflicted by Rahu, which gives some ups and downs to that. Now, Rahu is giving desire for partnerships, spiritual partnerships. Now, let's look at when the planets were operating. At 16 years old, she had a very big accident, and it was during a sun period. This is the house of accidents. And then in 1988, her show launched, the Roseanne show, and did very well. That was during a moon period and a Mercury period too. In 98, she was assaulted. That was during, I think that was a sun period as well. And then her show was recently canceled May 29th, 2018. That's during a Saturn period. So let's just look at that real quick. We said that was May the 29th of May. So we see Saturn being in this house of losses, and K2 and Mars very close together, causing sudden issues. And so yeah, and it's during a Saturn Rahu period. So yeah, so definitely having some effect there. Whenever Mars and K2 are close together, they can cause, catastrophes of some sort. 9/11 was a Mars K2 conjunction. And so I guess this was all caused by some racial tweets that she did a few months ago. And so those are the key points for the chart. Now, what could be done for the remedies? So to transform Jupiter, Sun, Rahu, and Ketu, listening to chants concerning Sun, which would be Vishnu chants, Jupiter, which would be Ganesh chants, Rahu would be Shiva chants, and Ketu again Ganesh chants. Helping spiritual organizations for K2, for people that cannot help themselves for Rahu and Sun, and again for Jupiter, spiritual organizations, and also wearing a kavash to strengthen her weak planets. Moon could be strengthened a little bit more, although it's very strong. Mercury is also very strong, but could be strengthened a little bit more, as well as Mars and Venus. So those are the key points for the chart for Roseanne Barr. And if you would like an astrological reading, you can contact me at Michael Mastro Vastu at gmail.com, or if you would like to learn to be certified in transformational Vedic astrology, you can go to American Institute of Vastu.com.